All right, I'm going to make you host. All right, we'll get started. All right, welcome everybody to another Hands-on Monday session. In today's session, we're going to be covering how to build marketing automation flows in Salesforce CRM to help your marketing cloud solutions. I just want to give a shout out to upcoming sessions. We have every Monday a Marketing Cloud Mondays hands-on sessions that are either led by myself, Matt, JB, or their guest presenters. We're also working toward an Agent Blazer Challenge kickoff. We're doing an in-person session on August 13th to help those get champion, innovator, and other challenges for Agentforce. And then there is a content builder bootcamp in the works, but JB and Gilda are working on more to come on that soon. All right, let's talk about our use case to set up the flow use case that we're working with.
ऐसे नहीं होता कि मेहमान होती है जहाँ रखे ना पाकिस्तान में वो खत्म कराऊंगा पहले स्टेट बॉम्बर है ना वो वाला वो विमान वो तब करूंगा पूरी तैयारी के साथ कि भाई इंडिया को कोई भी अटैक ना करे
If I can put them on. Right. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's talk about this use case to help set up the scenario that we're going to be doing our build today. This comes out of a use case that we worked with a client that had a variety of these different codes that were used for evaluating a certain credit or marketing capabilities. And so we're going to use it, tailor it for our Cervelo Bank use case. So Cervelo Bank needs to filter out leads and contacts that might be a credit risk from their marketing automation journeys. The credit risk can be indicated from a variety of different values populated in the single field in Salesforce, which we've created called marketing codes. So sample values could be like M1, EM1, PN2, etc. In the example that we have, there were over 80 different codes that were possible that could be populated in that value, but there were only a handful that we needed to make exceptions for, maybe like a dozen of those values. So we wanted to do something where we would pull them into a journey if they didn't include, if in this string of different codes, there weren't like a dozen different values that were present. So the problem in Marketing Cloud is that there are some limitations to the configuration. Number one, like in decision splits, it gets kind of complicated, especially if you have, like a dozen different scenarios. You have to just have lots and lots of does not contain scenarios. We'll take a look at that in Journey Builder. And then the Salesforce entry event does not have the does not contains option. So it can make that even more complicated, and that limits you to only query-based entry events for that solution. So our approach would be to use a flow to help simplify all those different scenarios. And so if any one of those dozen different fields values are in that one field, then we could maybe flag a field in Salesforce CRM. And so the marketing automation side is looking for a single value, maybe a Boolean flag that could be set by that flow on the Salesforce side as well, simplifying those decision splits and allowing for that Salesforce data entry, journey entry event in the journey itself. So what we're going to do as far as our steps today, we're going to go into Marketing Cloud and we're going to validate those limitations in Marketing Cloud. We'll take a look at a Salesforce data entry event and look at the limitations that are there. Then also look at decision splits as well. And then we're going to go in the Salesforce CRM environment and we're going to build a flow. We're going to build a flow that's going to check to see if that record has any one of those values and then update that flag. And then if we have time, we'll come back into the journey itself and use that Boolean value to simplify the process on the marketing automation side. So we have a special guest today. We have Lakshmi, hands-on builder, who I know, I could have this right wrong, but she is the community group leader for one of the tried and true community groups, the Salesforce Marketing Cloud Developer Group. She's also a marketing champion. So Lakshmi, just wanted to give you the floor just to introduce yourself and your background. I know you've guest built with us before.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, and good evening to all the Indian participants. And this is Lakshmi Pavani from Melbourne, Australia, and it is around 10:10 p.m. for me. I was thinking the session is tomorrow, but Tim reminded me it's today. I'm so sorry for that. But I'm working in Salesforce ecosystem for the last 3.5 years, in which 2 years is completely marketing cloud. And yes, I have learned so much from all these sessions, especially Tim's hands-on on Data Cloud and Marketing Cloud as well. So one tip for all of the participants is just come forward and do volunteering with these buildings so that you can learn and explore new things with experts. There is nothing wrong if you do some mistake, or they will let you know everything. Thank you. And I'm going to share my screen now. Thanks for the opportunity. Okay. Matt and
Thank you, Lakshmi. Amazing. All right, so I thought maybe we would start in Marketing Cloud, Lakshmi, and we could create a new journey and take a look at those limitations that they have in Journey Builder. So yeah, we'll create a new journey. We'll create a multi-step journey. And then, yeah, let's drag over that Salesforce data entry event. And let's just take a look at the configuration there. So if we click into that, on our use case, we'll use the Salesforce data. And this scenario is using the contact object. So if you click into there, we'll search for the contact object and look what we can see as far as configuration. Perfect. Yeah, let's select contact. And then if we scroll down, let's use the person contact ID. Yeah. We'll do is created or is updated. And then the field that we have in Salesforce is, if you search for marketing, it should be like marketing_codes. But yeah, there we go. And then let's drag over that marketing code. Yeah. Now, in the deck, we had a couple of scenarios where we wanted to pull them in if they didn't have the code, like say M1. If that marketing code didn't contain M1. So it has contains, which is awesome. It just does not contain, which is kind of weird that's not in there. And so the scenarios is if you had like 60 of the additional fields, you had a dozen of them that you wanted to use as, that didn't qualify, you could use the other 48. You could do 48 of them as contains, but even that is kind of wonky. So that's kind of a little bit of a downside on the Salesforce data entry that they don't have a does not contain. You couldn't use does not equal because, again, this is a string that would have, it would be like M1, it could be EM1, PN2, a variety of these codes. So your hands are a little bit tied on the Salesforce data entry, the Salesforce data entry event that does not have that does not contain functionality. So anybody have any questions on that or any other thoughts related to that limitation? It sort of gives a reason, simplify it, for using the Salesforce data entry event. Okay.
I just have one question, team.
Sure.
Is it really easy to convince the CRM team to add one more field on the layout and then use the flow?
I know, right? I mean, it'd be kind of cool if, but even if there wasn't, let's just say if it was, does not contain was there, let's use contains to pretend it was does not contain. So if you select contains, and then let's use the value of like M1 for that. Yep, and let's hit done. And then let's bring over another one. And this one's going to be EM1. Yeah, and let's bring over another one. Let's say this one is PN2. Yeah.
Is it PM2, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you click on that or actually if you click on the, we can click it. We'll change those to ORs. And you might have a couple other criteria as far as, the data entry and all of that. So if you had a dozen of these different codes, even if that does not contain was there, it still would be really long, and complicated. Yep. So, even if it was there, and it should be, right? It'd be a good request to your point, Lakshmi. It would be kind of helpful to have the does not contains in there. And I get it. They're looking for things to trigger, right? So typically the triggering factor would be that it would contain a value. So understand that from that point of view. But anyways, a little bit limited on the Salesforce data entry event side of it. And then if you cancel out of this, let's go take a look at decision splits as well, because it's another functionality that also is very similar to what we're just seeing. So yeah, if we just drag over a decision split on there, yeah. And yeah, we'll just edit that. And then because we don't have a data extension yet, let's use the contact data. And then if we navigate to the contacts, yeah. And then I think you have to go into this, yeah. And then, oh, okay, wait a minute, sorry. If you go back to contact, go back to the home screen. Yeah. And yep. And then if you scroll down to the MC demo, that Marketing Cloud API user _ MC demo. Yep. There you go. And then we go to contact. I think I've synced this field, so it might be if you scroll down a little bit. Keep scrolling down, maybe it's at the bottom. Yeah, there we go. Let's bring that over. And then this, if you click on the pencil, this does have the does not contain, just handy. Yeah. But again, it's the same scenario, especially with decision splits. If you have like a dozen of different values and you're using a decision split in a variety of different places throughout the journey, it's going to get really cumbersome to be like, all right, every time I create a decision split, I got to list out this 12 different times for all these different marketing codes versus if it was just one field that flagged, don't send them based on these marketing codes. So anyways, that was sort of the reason why for this one particular use case, they decided to use a flow to simplify the data and populate just a certain value that we could use. So that was the reason for the use case. So yeah, so let's go over into, unless there's any questions, we're going to hop over into Salesforce, and we will create a flow that will take those marketing codes, the values that are in that marketing codes, and if a certain values are in there, we will set a value to be populated. So Lakshmi, let's go into the search bar, and if you type in your name, I created you as a contact, just so that we can see an example of what we're talking about. Yeah, so let's click into you. And then if we go to, if we scroll down a little bit, yeah, and then scroll down to the details a little bit. A little bit further down, I put in a couple examples, an example of your record. Scroll down a little bit further. Yeah, if we scroll up, so let's see. A little further up. There it is. So I created a contact record. It's got those three. Let's say we'll create a flow that if it's a M1 or an EM1 as a marketing code, then we'll want to flag you as marketing exclusion. So we've already created a field, a Boolean flag field called marketing exclusion. You can see that there. And so what we want to do is whenever a contact is created or updated where there's a marketing code of M1 or EM1, then we want to flag that marketing exclusion field so that back in the marketing cloud side, we can just use a single field to indicate that that they have been opted out. You can also see in this example, if we had time, there was also marketing and then operational use cases. So it's a multi-flag.
What is she doing?
Sorry, was there a question?
No, that's right.
Oh, okay, cool, awesome. All right, so there we go. We have that contact. So now we can go into, let's go into setup. So if we click the cogwheel over there, yep, you're ready to set. And then we'll click search for flows. Yeah. And then we're going to create a new flow. Yeah, we're going to create a record triggered flow. Launches when a record is created or updated. We're going to use the contact object. Yeah. And created or updated, excellent. And yeah, I don't think there's any other conditions on that. That all looks good. Let's hit the save button so that we can save it. We can name it Lakshmi, whatever you'd like to name it. Cool. Awesome. Fantastic. So yeah, we're going to click right under run immediately. We're going to click that plus sign. Yep, we're going to start creating some activities here. And first one we're going to search for is that decision activity. Perfect. Click into that. And then you can name this whatever you feel like makes sense.
शेल्टर आहे टॉपिक आम्हाला नाही अजून
जो येत नाही तो क्वेश्चन सोडून दे
म्हणजे टॉपिक नाहीये तरी मॅम हे देते
And
No,
Prasad,
that's okay.
can you put your on mute, please? Thank you. Okay, cool. Yeah, that could be contains or yeah. Cool. And then, yeah, I think we'll want to look for the, let's see. So, yeah, we'll want to use the triggering contact. We're going to want to find that field, marketing codes field. Yeah. And then we're going to want to use the contain. Yeah. Perfect. Awesome. Let's add another condition. Yeah, you want to go back and make it to search for contact. So if you typed in contact, there we go, triggering contact, perfect. And then marketing codes, contain one, perfect. And that is a PN2, perfect. And then up above, we're going to want to have that all conditions are met, and it's going to be an or statement instead of an and. Yep. That all looks good. Let's hit save. Awesome. Perfect. And then I think we need to add another activity now that it's going to go down. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to want to add that in the code. Sorry, if under that plus sign on the right under the if code tree. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, perfect. So good question on Rupesh on should it be contains or equals. in this example, because the field is a string of values, there could be up to 60 different values, comma separated in that field. The contains works, but for other scenarios, equals could work as well if it was a single value. So great question. All right, use the contact, it's in the triggered flow, that looks right. I think that's fine. And then, yeah, let's look for marketing. I think it's marketing exclusion. There we go. And it's a Boolean, so we'll set that to true. And yeah, I think that's all that needs to be there. We'll hit save. Cool. Any questions so far on the build of that flow? All right, let's activate this flow. Okay, cool. Now, Lakshmi, let's go back to your contact record. And let's edit that marketing codes field, and let's just wipe them out for now. Yeah, and let's just hit save, just so that it goes back to, say it was created, but these fields weren't populated. And then let's go back in, and then let's paste them back in again. Cool, and let's hit save. And there it goes. There, it populates that field. So clicking that true button, so now that Boolean field is populated automatically by the flow. Just automatically populates it, which is pretty cool. It's based on the save button functionality. So there you go. An easy way to take all of that complexity of a certain field, and now all we need to go back into Marketing Cloud. We can go in and just use that marketing exclusion field to help simplify this process. So yeah, let's go back and try that Salesforce data entry. Let's try clicking into that Salesforce data entry and just take a look at how that could be simplified. Anybody else done something similar with a flow in Salesforce and working with Marketing Cloud? Any other similar use cases out there people want to share? Cool. So we'll try contact. I think if you hit enter, it just need to, there you go. Perfect.
I haven't used Flow like this before, but I'm starting to think of a whole bunch of use cases right now. So it seems really, really flexible. So I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
I think Lakshmi mentioned earlier, that question of, is it easier to ask the CRM team to create a field or create a flow? And I can see how in some teams it may not be the case, but I think with my organization, it is. I'm really close with the admin, so I'm looking forward to connecting our brains and started to ask them for some help, so I don't have to, like you said, mention.
It's easy to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to cut you. It's very easy to ask, but very tough to convince them.
It's true. It can be to create a flow. Even so, I've been in scenarios where creating just a field can take months. Yeah, so we use marketing exclusion, perfect. And then, yeah, because this is a Boolean field, we'll say that it'll be false, essentially, right? If that field is not flagged, then we'll want to bring them in. And there would be other criteria, that would be to trigger them to enter in this journey as well, like they, met a certain status that would want to pull them into the journey. But yeah, so just simplifies it just to have a single value instead of having all those different contains or not contains. And obviously the similar scenario could work for a decision split as well. So yeah, we're going to be hoping to build out more complicated flows in the future, different use cases. So please share within the community different scenarios and different ways that you're seeing using Flow Builder in your marketing automations. I think this is all in our efforts to try to get a little bit more practice being comfortable in the core environment and incorporating it into our marketing automations is eventually going to be looking to migrate Marketing Cloud engagement over to core in the coming years. So yeah, I mean, that was pretty much the use case. Lakshmi, thank you for working through it so efficiently. Anybody have any questions or any other thoughts? Any other people on the call who are experienced in flows? Anything that we could have improved upon in our flow building? I'm relatively new to flow building, so obviously looking for tips from others as far as better ways to think about building flows. If the field is only needed in Marketing Cloud, this field's not to be on the layout and the contact page layout. Good point. Yeah, if it's something that is not, it is only used in the Marketing Cloud environment, it does not necessarily have to be on the page layout. It's a good call. So like if you're making that request to the CRM team, you may not need to add it to the page layout. It could be a field that sort of sit in the background. Yeah, we all need to sort of work in flows. They're kind of fun. I mean, we as journey builders, right? We're flow builders. That's what we're doing, right? We're building flows in Marketing Cloud, decision split, decision, update contact, object, activity, same functionality, just different ways. So cool. Well, that was sorry, go ahead.
No, I just have one question. The Marketing Cloud journey configurator should have access on that new field, right? From the CRM part. Or the API user, whoever it is.
That's true. Yes, you need to have that integrated user. Yep.
Yeah, we have done recently one thing where the agents will be updating something from their end on CRM, and that checkbox will trigger an email from Marketing Cloud. So it's using Apex, but they did not use the flow, but developer did that using Apex class.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Cool. So they have a question here. Can I replace Journey Builder with Flow Builder for journey deployment? Yeah, I think they're going to be continuing to build out Flow so that you can send emails in Flow Builder. It doesn't have the same functionality in core. I mean, if your instance is in your IPs or in Marketing Cloud engagement, you might need to still send those emails from Marketing Cloud engagement. But I think in Flow Builder, if you have account engagement, you certainly can use Flow Builder for email sends and creating those journeys. So.
And I think Marketing Cloud on core will be using flows instead of journeys or automations, which is a bit scary, but still something doable. Yeah.
So now we do have actually a minute or two. There was one add-on to this flow, Lakshmi, I thought maybe we could experiment with, which is that if that field does not contain, oh, May, go ahead with the question.
Hi,
Do you
good
want me to
morning.
share the
Thank you.
screen? Sorry.
I just had a question. So because we're using the Salesforce data, that's the live data, right? So if there was a decision to kind of review live data from, we don't need to then create something to reconnect because it's already connected to the live contact data. Is that correct?
That is correct, right?
Okay.
It should trigger as soon as that field is populated to meet that criteria in the Salesforce environment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, good point, Orlando. Yeah. So, Lakshmi, I don't know if we have, since we have a few more minutes, one thing we could do with the flow is that as it's checking in that other tree where that field does not contain, where that contact does not contain those three values, we could check to see if we could change the that field to false as another scenario. So yeah, let's go back into that, and maybe we could add another functionality in the default outcome. Yeah. So yep, let's see. Yeah, let's go into that default outcome. If we add a plus, if we click on the plus, oh, sorry, I think you're good there. Let's see. Oh. Okay, good. Yeah, and on the left in the flow, if you click on the plus, there we go, perfect. And then let's do an update records. Yeah. And then this is going to, update to, in case that marketing codes field exclusion was populated, it'll, update to true or to false. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. And then we'll just search for that same field, marketing exclusion. Probably have to put in, marketing will, yep, perfect. And then we'll just change that to false. Perfect. And then, yep, let's save as a new version. Awesome. Okay, I think you have to activate. Yep. Okay, cool. And then let's go back to that contact, and let's remove those fields. Say they didn't, they were corrected, everything was good. Let's hit save. And there it goes. Yeah, good. So there's another way you could build out. Obviously, the flow can get kind of complex. You might want to check to see if it was true or false. But anyways, another way of you can have that functionality, make it a little bit more complex, changing it from true to false and false to true. Cool. Any other questions from anybody else? Okay. Awesome. I know Matt and I have been trying to get to spending some more time in marketing cloud growth and advanced, and I think we'll hopefully get more involved in that effort in September. Dedicate a little bit more time. This is sort of starting to get into that use cases that involve both Salesforce, CRM, and Marketing Cloud. But thank you, Lakshmi. Awesome job. As super skillful in both platforms. That was super fast and super comprehensive. And we'll see you all next Monday.
Great session, Lakshmi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lakshmi. See everybody.
Thank you all.